Hello everybody, hello grade 6. This is Mr. Samir. Today we'll study final revision for grade 6. So let's start. First, solve proportions. How can we solve a proportion? Find the missing term in each proportion. You can solve the proportion mentally, but we will use the cross products property. N over 12 equals 5 over 20. To find the value of n, we will use cross products. N times 20 equals 5 times 12. Now to find the value of n, just divide both sides by 20. We get n equals, cancel out common factors, 5 times 12 equals 60. 60 divided by 20 equals what, mister? Yes, equals 3. Or you can, cancel out common factors. 20 is divisible by 5 equals 4. 12 is divisible by 4 equals 3. Now we get n equals 3. Number B, by the same way, n over 3 equals 7 over 21. Use cross products so we can write n times 21 equals 3 times 7. Divide both sides by 21 to find the value of n. Cancel out common factors, we get n equals 3 times 7 equals 21 over 21 equals 1. You can cancel out common factors, divided by 3 equals 1, divided by 3 equals 7. 7 up and 7 down, we can cancel common factors, we get n equals 1. Next, 4 over n equals 16 over 36. We can write 4 times 36 equals n times 16. 4 times 36 equals n times 16. To find the value of n, we will divide both sides by 16. 16 is called the coefficient of n. Now divide out common factors, we get n equals 16 is divisible by 4 equals what, mister? Yes, equals 4. 36 is divisible by 4, we get 9. Now n equals 9. Next, proportion and similar figures. The figures in each pair are similar. We have two similar triangles. Write and solve a proportion to find length of each missing side. First, to find the missing side, just write the proportion. Now, the corresponding sides are proportional or form a proportion. First, guys, determine the corresponding vertices A and D, B, and E, C and F. So we can write the proportion AB over ED or DE is equal to BC over EF is equal to CA over FD. Now substitute for each length. AB equals 6 feet over DE equals X equals BC equals 6 feet over EF equals 12 is equal to the last ratio CA equals Y over FD equals 16. To find the value of X, we will use the first and second ratio. 6 over X is equal to 6 over 12. Now use cross products to find the value of X. Now we get X times 6 equals 6 times 12. To find the value of X, just divide both sides by 6. Cancel out common factors, we get X equals. Cancel 6, we get X equals 12. To find the value of Y, we will use the second and the third ratio. 6 over 12 is equal to Y over 16. To find the value of Y, we will use cross products property. Now we get 12 times y equals 6 times 16. To find the value of y, we will divide both sides by 12. Now cancel out common factors. We get Mr. y equals 12 is divisible by 6 equals 2. 16 is divisible by 2 equals 8. Now Mr. y equals 8 in the simplest form. We get now x equals 12 and y equals 8. Next example, the figures in each pair are similar. We have two similar figures. Write and solve a proportion to find the length of each missing side. The missing side is W. The missing side is A. Now we can write the proportion directly. 9 and A, two corresponding sides. So we can write 9 over A is equal to Mr. W over 21. W over 21 is equal to 5 over 15. How can we find the value of A? To find the value of A, we will use the first and last Mr. ratio. We can write 9 over A is equal to 5 over 15. To find the value of A, use cross products. Now 5 times A, Mr. equals 9 times 15. To find the value of A, just divide both sides by 5. Cancel out common factors. We get A equals 9 times 15 over 5. 15 is divisible by 5 equals 3. Now 3 times 9 equals 27. To find the value of W, we will use the second and the third Mr. ratio. So we can write W over 21 is equal to 5 over 15. Use cross products. Now W times 15 is equal to 21 times 5. Now to find the value of W, we will divide both sides by 15. Cancel out common factors. We get W equals 15 and 5 are divisible by 5. Divided by 5 equals 1. Divided by 5 equals 3. 21 is divisible by 3 equals 7. Now Mr. W equals 7. We get now that A equals 27 and W equals 7. Next, relate percent to decimals. First exercise, write as a decimal. To write the percent as a decimal, just Mr. divide the number by 100. Then drop Mr. the percent sign. So we get 27 divided by 100. Just insert the decimal point after 2 digits from the right. We get 0.27. Next, 36% by the same way, just Mr. divide 36 by 100. We get 0.36 and drop the percent sign. 59%, drop the percent sign and divide by 100. We get Mr. 0.59. 6 divided by 100, Mr. Insert the decimal point after 2 digits from the right, so you have to insert 1 0. We get 0.06. Finally, by the same way, we get 0.01 as a decimal form. Next, how can we write a percent, Mr. if we have the decimal form? If we have the decimal form, Mr., to write the percent form, just multiply the decimal form by 100 and write the percent sign. We get Mr. 20 times 100. Just move Mr. the decimal point to the right 2 digits. We get 20 and write the sign of the percent. It will be 20%. By the same way, 0.35 times 100. We will move the decimal point to the right 2 digits. We get 35%. Next, 0.02 times 100. We will move the decimal point to the right 2 digits. we get Mr. 2%. So 0.02 is equal to 2%. Next, 0.07, just move the decimal point to the right, Mr. 2 decimal places, we get Mr. 7%. Next, 0.2 times 100, you have to insert 1 0. So we get Mr. 20% in the simplest form. Next, percentage of a number. Use the formula and the decimals to solve for the variable. How can you use the decimals to find the value of A and the value of G? We will use the decimal formula of the percent. A is equal to 30% of 60. Ask yourself, what's the decimal form of 30%? Yes, mister, just divide 30 by 100. We get 0.3 times 60. To make it easier, get rid of the decimal point. We can write 60 as 10 times 6. We can write it as 0.3 times 10 times 6. Use associative property. 0.3 times 10 is equal to 3. Times 6, guys, equals 18 in the simplest form. By the same way, G equals 75%. We can write it as 0.75 times 80. We can write 80 as 10 times 8. We can write it as 0.75 times 10 times 8. First, guys, we will use associative property. We get 7.5 times 8. It's easy to multiply now. 8 times 5 equals 40. Write 0 and keep 4. 8 times 7 equals 56. Plus 4 equals 60. And don't forget to insert the decimal point after one digit from the right. We get 60. So G equals 60 and A equals 80. Next, use the formula in the fraction to solve for the variable. We will use the fraction form. 40% of 20 is equal to J. Now we can write 40% as 40 over 100 times 20. Don't forget of means 20. Now ask yourself, what's the fraction form of 40 over 100? It will be 2 over 5. You can simplify. Times 20. 20 is divisible by 5 equals what, mister? Equals 4. Now we get 2 times 4 equals 8 in the simplest form. By the same way, to find the value of B, the fraction form of 75% is 75 over 100 times 120. Don't forget of means times. 75 over 100 in the simplest form is equal to 3 over 4. It's easy. Times 120. Now just to simplify, 120 is divisible by 4. Equals what? Equals 30. Now the value of B is equal to 3 times 30. Equals what? Equals 90 in the simplest form. Next, use a proportion to find the percentage of a number. To find the percentage of the number, we will use the proportion. It's easy. Just write part over whole is equal to part over whole for the percent and for the values. First, we can write 40% as 40 over 100 is equal to x over Mr. 25. Now to find the value of x, we will use cross products. So we get 100 times x is equal to 40 times Mr. 25. Now to find the value of x, we will divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 100. Cancel out common factors, we get x equals 40 and 100 are divisible by 10. 40 divided by 10 equals 4. 100 divided by 10 equals 10. 25 and 10 are divisible by 5. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. 25 is divisible by 5 equals 5. 4 is divisible by 2. Equals what? Yes, equals 2. Now x equals 2 times 5. Just multiply the remaining factors. We get x equals 10 in the simplest form. By the same way, 80% of 90, we can write as 80 over 100 is equal to x over 90. Don't forget, this is a percent and this is the values. don't forget. Now use cross products. X times 100 is equal to 80 times 90. Now, mister, to find the value of x, we will divide both sides by 100. Cancel out common factors, we get x equals 80 and 100, 90 and 100. Double zero up and double zero down, we can divide by 100. So, divided by 100 equals 1, divided by 100 equals 8 times 9. Multiply the remaining factors, 8 times 9 equals 72. So the value of x is equal to 72. Next, the discount and sale price. How can we find the discount? How can we find the sale price of an item? Find the discount and the sale price. We have list price and the rate of the discount. How can we find the discount? How can we find the sale price? Discount is D, sale price is SB. First, guys, find the discount. To find the discount, just multiply the rate of the discount by the list price. The rate of the discount is equal to 20%. We can write 20% times the list price is equal to $130. Now, to find the value of the discount, we can write 20% as a decimal as 0.2, we studied before, times 130. To make it easier, we can write Mr. 0.2 as 0.2 times 10 times 13. Now, Mr. 0.2 times 10 is equal to 2. 2 times 13 is equal to $26. To find the sale price, just subtract the discount from the list price. So 130 minus Mr. $26 is equal to $104. Next, the big screen TV. To find the discount, just multiply the rate of the discount by the list price. The rate of the discount is 10%. We can write 10% times the list price, which is $3,200. Now we can write the 10% as 0.1 times 3200. Now, Mr. To get rid of the decimal point, we can write 0.1 times 10 times 320. So it will be 1 times 320. We get the discount equals $320. To find the sale price, just subtract 320 from $3,200. So we get 3,200 minus 320 is equal to $2,880. Next, sales tax and total cost. How can we find the sales tax? How can we find the total cost? Find the sales tax and the total cost of each item. First, to find the sales tax, just multiply the rate of the tax by the market price we studied before. So the tax is equal to R times market price. The rate of the tax is 5%. 5% times market price, which is 23.40. Now we can write 5% as 0.05 as a decimal times 23.40. We get $1.17. Now to find the total cost. The total cost is equal to the tax plus market price we studied before. So total cost is equal to 1.17 plus 23.40. Now just to add 7 plus 0 equals 7, 1 plus 4 equals 5, bring down the decimal point, 1 plus 3 equals 4, and bring down 2. We get $24.57. Next example, find the sales tax and the total cost of each item. $59.75 camera and 4% sales tax. So the rate of the tax is 4% and market price is Mr. equal to $59.7. So to find first the tax, just multiply the rate of the tax by the market price. So we get Mr. 4% times 59.75. Now we can write 4% as 0.04 as a decimal times 59.75. We get Mr. $2.39. Now to find the total cost, we will add Mr. market price and what? And the tax. So the value of tax is equal to 2.39. We write 2.39 plus the value of market price. It's given 59.75. Just add 9 plus 5 equals 14. It will be 4 plus 7 equals 11. Bring down the decimal point. It will be 3. 3 plus 9 equals 12. 1 over 5 will be 6. So we get $62.14. Next, measure metric length. Rename each unit of measure. 6 centimeter equals how many millimeter? To convert from centimeter to millimeter, we will use the conversion factor we studied before. So just write 6 centimeter times. We need to write Mr. centimeter down and millimeter up. Now 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeter. Just cancel the common unit. We get now 6 times 10 millimeter. So is equal to 60 millimeter. Now 6 centimeter is equal to 60 millimeter. By the same way, 7 meter equals how many centimeter? So to convert from 7 meter, just multiply by the conversion factor. Meter down and centimeter up. 1 meter equals 100 centimeter. Cancel meter. Now we get 7 times 100 centimeter. We get now 700 centimeter. Now the missing number is 700 centimeter. By the same way, 453 decimeter equals how many kilometer? To convert from decimeter to kilometer, you have to use two conversion factors. 453 decimeter. First, we will convert decimeter to be meters. So write decimeter down and meter up. 1 meter equals 10 decimeter. So just cancel decimeter and divide by 10. So we get Mr. 45.3 meter. To convert 45.3 meter to be in kilometer, we will use another conversion factor. We can write 45.3 meter multiply 1 meter and kilometer. We studied before that 1 kilometer equals 1000 meter. Now cancel meter, you have to divide by 1000. Just move the decimal point to the left 3 digits. So we get 0.0453. Now Mr. Kilometer. Now we can rename 453 decimeter as 0.0453 kilometer. Compare using greater than, smaller than, or equal. To compare between two sides, you must rename measure to the same unit. First, 0.45 meter, we will rename it to be in centimeter. Just write 0.45 meter. We need to find the conversion factor, so write centimeter. Compare using measure greater than, smaller than, or equal. To compare between two sides, you have to rename to the same unit. For 0.4. Compare use greater than, smaller than, or equal. Number 1, 0.45 meter and 45 centimeter. To compare between two sides, you have to rename measure from large unit to small unit, or rename to the same unit. I will rename from meter to centimeter. We will use the conversion factor as we studied before. 0.45 meter times, we write meter down and centimeter up. 1 meter equals 100 centimeter. Now cancel meter. Now we get 0.45 times 100. It will be in centimeter. Mr. just move the decimal point to the right 2 digits. We get 45 centimeter. Now we can write 45 centimeter. It will be the same. Now we write equals. Next to 257 centimeter and 25.7 decimeter. We will convert decimeter to be in centimeters. We will use the conversion factor. We get 25.7 decimeter. Now multiply, write decimeter down and centimeter up. 1 decimeter equals 10 centimeter. Now cancel the common unit. We get 25.7 times 10. It will be in centimeter. Now, mister, we can move the decimal point to the right 1 digit. We get 257 centimeter. So write 257 centimeter. It will be the same. Now we can write equals. Next, measure metric capacity and mass units. Compare use greater than, smaller than, or equal. You have to rename to be the same unit of both sides. 24 liter and 240 milliliter. We will convert 24 liter to be in milliliters. Just write 24 liter times. Write liter down and milliliter up. The main relation 1 liter equals 1000 milliliter. Now cancel Mr. Liter. We get 24 times 1000 milliliter. Now we get 24,000 milliliter. We can write 24,000 milliliter. Now the left hand side is greater than the right hand side. Next, 24 gram and 240 milligram. We studied before, guys, 24 gram, multiply gram down and milligram up. Mr. 1 gram equals what milligram? Equals 1000 milligram. Now cancel gram. We get 24 times 1000. We get 24,000 milligram. Now we can write 24,000 milligram. Now, Mr. 24,000 milligram is greater than 240 milligram. So don't forget, guys, to compare between two sides. You have to convert to be the same unit of both sides. Perimeter. How can we find the perimeter of a polygon? Find the perimeter of each polygon. Look at the first one. The first one is a rectangle. To find the perimeter of rectangle, you have to study the rule of perimeter of rectangle. We studied before the perimeter of rectangle equals 2 length plus 2 width. Now, mister, we can write 2 times length equals 7.5 plus 2 times width equals 5.1. Just multiply 2 times 7.5 equals what, mister? Yes, equals 15 plus 2 times 5.1. 2 times 1 equals 2. 2 times 5 equals 10. And insert the decimal point after 1 digit from the right. We get 15 plus 10 equals 25.2 meter. Find the perimeter of each polygon. The first one is Mr. Parallelogram. How can we find the parallelogram? Just add all sides. 7.5, 7.5, 5.1, 5.1. To find the perimeter of the polygon, just add all sides. 7.5 is repeated 2 times. 5.1 is repeated 2 times. Now we can write the perimeter is equal to 7.5 times 2 plus 5.1 times 2. So we can write it as 2 times 7.5 mentally equals 15 plus 2 times 1 equals 2, 2 times 5 equals 10, and insert the decimal point after 1 digit from the right we studied before. 15 plus 10 equals 25.2 meter. Next, how can we find the perimeter of a regular polygon? First, guys, you have to name the polygon. Just count the vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have octagon. Ask yourself, what's the perimeter of regular polygon? The perimeter of regular polygon, mister, equals S times N. S is what? S, mister, the side length is equal to 4.6. What about the number of sides? It will be 8. I said before it's octagon. Just multiply 4.6 by 8. 8 times 6 equals 48. Write 8 and keep 4. 8 times 4 equals 32. 32 plus 4 equals 36. And don't forget to insert the decimal point after one digit from the right. Now the perimeter is equal to 36.8 centimeter. Next, the shape is what, guys? It's a square. How can we find, mister, the perimeter of the square? The perimeter of the square is equal to its side length times 4. Ask yourself, its side length equals 20 and 1/3. We can write 20 and 1/3 times 4. We can write the mixed number as a fraction. 20 times 3 equals 60. 60 plus 1 equals 61 over 3 times 4. No common factors, just multiply. No common factors, just multiply 61 by 4. 4 times 1 equals 4. 4 times 6 equals 24. Now we get 244 over 3. We can write it as a mixed. 24 divided by 3 equals 8. 4 divided by 3 equals 1. What about the remainder? It will be 1 over 3. Now we get the perimeter is equal to 81 and 1/3 yard. Next, find the perimeter of each polygon. We have a polygon. First, guys, what's the name of the polygon? How many sides? To find its perimeter, just add all sides. But we have repeated, mister, length. First, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the name of the shape is octagon, or the name of the polygon is octagon. Now to find its perimeter. 5 is repeated how many times? Just count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 is repeated 4 times. 3 is repeated 4 times. So we can write the perimeter as 5 times 4 plus 3 times 4. Don't forget, guys, 5 is repeated 4 times. That's mean 5 times 4 equals what? Equals 20. Plus 3 is repeated 4 times. Equals what? Equals 12. Now 20 plus 12 equals 32 inch. So don't forget, guys, if we have a regular polygon, to find its perimeter, just add all sides. But in this shape, we have repeated length. Next, area of squares and rectangles. How can we find the area of the square? How can we find the area of the rectangle? Use formulas to find the areas. Look at the first one, it's rectangle. We have 2 different dimensions. 13.5 centimeter, it's called length. 10.3 centimeter, it's called width. How can we find the area of the rectangle? Just multiply length by width. Length is equal to 13.5. Width is equal to 10.3. Just multiply 13.5 times 10.3. You can use long multiplication. We get Mr. 139.05 square centimeter. Look at the second Mr. It's square with side length is equal to 1 and 1/2. We can write it as a this mixed number as a fraction as 3 over 2. Now the area of the square is equal to what, guys? Do you remember? Yes, S times S. You can write it as S squared. So it will be 3 over 2 squared. Now is equal to 9 over 4. We can write it as Mr. 2 and 1 over 4 square yard. Next, use formulas to find the areas. We have a rectangle. how can we find the area of the rectangle? I said before, length times width. Ask yourself, just multiply the two dimensions. Length is equal to 7 and 2/3 times width is equal to 2 and 1/2. Now, how can we multiply two mixed numbers? Rename each mixed number to be a fraction. 7 times 3 equals 21. 21 plus 2 equals 23. Over what? Over 3. Times 2 and 1/2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 4 plus 1 equals 5. We get 5 over 2. Now, no common factors. Just multiply 23 by 5 over 3 times 2. 23 times 5, 5 times 3 equals 15, 5 times 2 equals 10, plus 1 equals 11. We get 115 divided by 6 is equal to 11 divided by 6 equals 1. 1 times 6 equals 6. The remainder will be 5. We get 55 divided by 6 equals 9. 9 times 6, 54. The remainder will be 1 over 6, We can write it as a mixed number, 19 and 1 over 6 square feet. Next, area of triangles and parallelograms. We studied before how can we find the area of the triangle, the area of parallelogram. So you must study the rule of finding the area of triangle, the area of parallelogram. Find the area of each triangle. First, base equals 8 and the height equals 6. We studied before that the area of the triangle equals half times base times height. But I told you before, to find the area of the triangle, you can write the formula as b times h over 2. Base times height over 2. Just to find the product of the base and the height, then divided by 2 to find the area of the triangle. So we can write the area is equal to 8 times 6, then divide by 2. The area is equal to 8 times 6 is equal to 20. 8 times 6 is equal to 48, divided by 2 equals 24. But you can simplify. 8 is divisible by 2 equals 4. It will be easier. 4 times 6 equals 24 square centimeter. Next triangle, the base is equal to 10. The height is equal to 8. Now the area is equal to base times height, then divide by 2 to find its area. Base is equal to 10, so write 10 times 8, then divide by 2. 10 times 8 equals 80. 80 divided by 2 equals 40, but you can simplify. Divided by 2 equals 1, divided by 2 equals 4. 4 times 10 equals 40. So the area is equal to 40 square feet. The last triangle, to find the area, ask yourself, what's the base? The base is equal to 30 centimeter. The height is equal to 12 centimeter. Now you can write the area is equal to base times height, then divide by 2. Base is equal to what? Yes, 30 centimeter. So we can write 30 times 12, then divide by 2. Now, you can simplify. 12 is divisible by 2 equals 6. Now the area is equal to 30 times 6 equals 180 square centimeter. So don't forget, guys, to find the area of the triangle, just multiply its base by its height, then divide by 2. Next, how can we find the area of the parallelogram? To find the area of the parallelogram, we use the formula base times height. The base is a side, the height is a perpendicular segment. Look at the first one. The base is equal to 4 centimeter. The height is equal to 3 centimeter. So the area is equal to base times height. Just to find the product of the base and the height. 4 times 3 equals what? Equals 12 square centimeter. Next parallelogram, ask yourself base equals 18, height equals 12. So to find the area of the parallelogram, just multiply base by height. Base equals 18, height is equal to 12. 18 times 12 is equal to 216 square inch. It's easy to multiply. Next, to find the area, just ask yourself, base is equal to 1 and 2 over 3. We can write it as a fraction. 1 times 3 equals 3 plus 2 equals 5. So we can write it as 5 over 3. Look at the height is equal to 1 and 4 over 5. We can write it as a fraction. 1 times 5 equals 5 plus 4 equals 9. So we get 9 over 5. Now find the product of the base and the height. Now the area is equal to base times the height. Base is equal to 5 over 3. Height is equal to 9 over 5. Now cancel out common factors. How can we multiply two fractions? 9 is divisible by 3 equals 3. We can cancel out 5. Now the area is equal to 1 times 3 equals 3 square yard. So don't forget to find the area of the parallelogram. Just find the product of its base and its height. Next, circumference. How can we calculate the circumference of a circle? Use 3.14 for pi to find the circumference of each circle. The first circle, it's a circle with diameter equals 2 meter. To find the circumference of the circle, ask yourself, what's the formula of the circumference of the circle? Just multiply its diameter by pi. Now, we can write the circumference equals 2 times 3.14. Now, 2 times 4 equals 8, 2 times 1 equals 2, 2 times 3 equals 6. But don't forget to insert the decimal point after 2 digits from the right. We get 6.28 meter. Next, diameter, is equal to 4 times 2. We don't have the diameter, so you have to find the diameter first. Is equal to radius length times 2. We studied before. So r equals 4. So 4 times 2 equals what? Equals 8. Now we can find the circumference is equal to d times y. d is equal to 8 times 3.14. Just multiply and insert the point after 2 digits from the right. We get 25.12. It's easy to multiply. Just multiply 8 by 314, then insert the decimal point after 2 digits from the right. We get 25.12 feet. The last circle, it's very easy. Ask yourself, the diameter is equal 10 yard. To find the circumference, just multiply the diameter by pi. Now, diameter is equal 10 times the value of pi, 3.14. To multiply a decimal by 10, just move the decimal point to the right 1 digit. We studied before. We get 31.4 yard. So don't forget, guys, to find the diameter, to find the circumference of the circle, you will find the diameter. Then you can use it to find the circumference of the circle. Just multiply the diameter length by the value of pi, which is 3.14 or 22 over 7. Next exercise, find the circumference. Use pi is equal to 22 over 7. Now we have d. It's easy. The circumference of the circle, just multiply the diameter by the value of pi. Diameter is equal to 7. So 7 times 22 over 7. You have to simplify. 7 is divisible by 7 equals 1. We get 22 feet. Look at the second, it will be the same. The circumference of the circle is equal to d times y. d is equal to 21 times 22 over 7. We note, mister, that 21 is divisible by 7 equals 3. Now to find the circumference, just multiply 3 by 22. We get 66 inch. Next, the area of the circle. How can we calculate the area of the circle? Find the area used by 3.14 or 22 over 7. First example, guys, a circle with radius length 5 feet. How can we find its area? We studied before the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. R equals what, mister? R equals 5 feet. Now to find the area, just substitute 5 for r. We get, mister, 3.14, the value of pi, times 5 squared. So we get 3.14 times 5 squared equals 25. Just multiply 314 by 25, then insert the decimal point after 2 digits from the right we studied before. We get, mister, area equals 78.5 square feet. It's easy to multiply. Next example, we have a circle with diameter equals d. Pay attention. To find the area, you have to find the radius length. We studied before that r equals half d. So r equals 7 yard. Now we can find the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. You have to use pi is equal to, mister, what? 3.14 or 22 over 7. It's easy to use 22 over 7. Why? Because r is divisible by, mister, 7. So we can write pi equals 22 over 7 times r squared is equal to 7 squared. Now is equal to 22 over 7 times 49. 49 is divisible by 7 equals 7. Now, mister, the area is equal to 22 times 7 is equal to 154, mister, square yard. Finally, r equals 10 centimeter. Now we get r squared is equal to 10 squared is equal to 100. The area is equal to pi r squared. Pi is equal to 3.14 times r squared equals 100. We studied before how can we multiply by 100. It's easy. Just move the decimal point to the right 2 digits. We get 314 square centimeter. So don't forget, guys, to find the area of the circle, you have to find the radius length. If we have the diameter, you must divide the diameter by 2 or get the half of the diameter to find the radius. Then you can use it to find the area of the circle is equal to, mister, pi r squared. Next, total surface area. We will study how can we find the total surface area of the cube, rectangular prism, and the slender. You have to study each rule to find the total surface area of any solid. First, find the surface area of each cube. The first cube with edge length, mister, equals 4 centimeter. We studied before that the total surface area of the cube is equal to 6s squared. Don't forget, guys, s is the edge length. 6 is what? Number of faces. We have 6 faces of the cube, or the cube has 6 faces. Now s equals what, mister? S equals 4. So substitute 4 for s, we get 6 times 4 squared. 4 squared equals what? Equals 16. So we get 6 times 16 is equal to, mister, 96 square centimeter. Next cube, s equals 5 feet. Now, mister, we can find the total surface area. Total surface area is equal to 6s squared. So we get 6 times 5 squared. 5 squared is equal to 25. Now 6 times 25 equals 150 square feet. So don't forget, guys, to find the total surface area of the cube, just multiply, mister, the squared of its edge length by 6. 6 is what, mister? Is number of faces. Find the surface area of each rectangular prism. Ask yourself, what's the formula of the surface area of a cuboid or rectangular prism? We studied before, mister, that the surface area or total surface area of the cuboid is equal to length times width, then multiply by 2, plus length times height, then multiply by 2, plus width times height, then multiply by 2. So we can find, mister, the total surface area. Ask yourself, length equals what? Width equals what? Height equals what? Length is equal to 6 meter. Width is equal to 4 meter. Height is equal to 2 meter. Now just substitute, we get 2 times 6 times 4 plus 2 times 6 times 2, the height is 2, plus 2 times 4 times 2. 2 times 6 equals 12. 12 times 4 equals 48, plus 2 times 6 equals 12 times 2 equals 24. 2 times 4 equals 8. 8 times 2 equals 16. Just add, mister, 48 plus 24 plus mister 16 equals what? Yes, equals 88 square meter. Next, apply the same rule to find the total surface area. Ask yourself first, length equals what? Width equals what? Height equals what? Length equals 6 inch. Width equals 4 inch. And the height is equal to 3 inch. First, 2 times length times width. We get 2 times 6 times 4. Plus, this is the first part. 2 times 6 times 3. Height is 3. Plus 2 times 4 times 3. First, mister, 2 times 6 equals 12. 12 times 4 equals 48. Plus 2 times 6 equals 12. 12 times 3 equals 36. Plus 2 times 4 equals 8. 8 times 3 equals 24. Just add 48 plus 36 plus 24 equals 108 square inch. So don't forget, guys, to find the total surface area of any rectangular prism, just to find the product of the two dimensions, length times width, length times height, width times height, but don't forget to multiply by 2 or find the double, then add the three products. We get, mister, the total surface area of the rectangular prism. Next, how can we find, mister, the total surface area of a cylinder? To find the total surface area of the cylinder, you have to study this rule. The total surface area of the cylinder, mister, just to find, mister, the circumference of the circle times its height. So it will be 2 pi r times the height, plus, mister, the area of one base times 2. We have two circular bases we studied before. So the area of one base is equal to pi r squared. Then multiply by 2. To make it easier, guys, just write total surface area is equal to, we can find 2 pi r as a common factor. We get 2 pi r multiplied by, mister, height plus r. You can use this formula to be easier. Okay, so ask yourself, r equals what? Height equals what? R is equal to 4 inch. Height is equal to 7 inch. Now, mister, just substitute 4 for r and 7 for h. Now we get total surface area is equal to, pi is equal to 3.14. So we get 2 times 3.14, mister, times value of r, h is 4. Now multiply h plus, mister, r. So we get 7 plus 4. Now just write 2 times 4 equals 8. 8 times 3.14 times 7 plus 4 equals 11. We get, guys, 8 times 11, it will be 88 times 3.14. You can find it easy. It will be 276.32 square inch. To make it easier, guys, you have to use this formula. Total surface area of the cylinder is equal to Mr. 2 by r multiplied by the sum of the height and its radius length of its base. Finally, guys, find the surface area of the cylinder. Look, guys, we studied before that the total surface area of the cylinder, you can use the easy formula. 2 by r times h plus r. You can use it. It will be. Next, find the surface area of the cylinder. Ask yourself, r equals what and h equals what? R is equal to what? 7. It's wrong. Look, guys, 7 is the diameter, so you have to divide diameter by 2. So, the diameter is equal to 7, so r equals 7 divided by 2. And h equals what, mister? H equals 9 centimeter. We can write 7 over 2 as 3.5 as a decimal. Don't forget, the total surface area of the cylinder is equal to 2 by r multiplied by r plus h. First, by equals what? 3.14. So we can write 2 times 3.14 times the value of r, which is 3.5, times r equals what, 3.5 plus the height is equal to 9. To make it easier, guys, we can write 3.5 as 7 over 2. So we can write 2 times 3.14 times 7 over 2 multiplied by 3.5 plus 9. Do you know, guys, we can cancel 2 with 2. We get 3.14 times 7, don't forget, times 3 plus 9 equals what? Equals 12. And we have 1/2, which is 0.5. We get 12.5. Now just to multiply the three numbers, 3.14 times 7 times 12.5, we get, the total surface area of this cylinder, it will be 274.75 square centimeter. Finally, if you like my video, subscribe to my channel for more math videos. Thanks for watching. See you soon, guys.